we're only going to do it at a relatively low speed. In my experience, on driving tests, they only do it at a fairly low speed. Not 5 miles an hour, but maybe 15, 20 miles an hour. Something. Theoretically, they could ask you to do one at any point up to the speed limit of the road that you're on. They're never going to ask you to do it when you're doing 70 on the dual carriageway. They're not going to ask you to do it at 60 on a rural road because it would just simply be too risky for them. So they will pick a road that they know typically is quite quiet and that there's not going to be much traffic coming up from behind or ahead. So what they generally do is give you plenty of notice. They'll say to you, either pull you over to the side of the road, or when there's nothing else going on that you really need to concentrate on, they'll say, right, somewhere along this road I'm going to ask you to bring the car to a stop as if in an emergency. The one that is check behind, I'll check ahead, if it's all safe, I'm going to say stop. And they put their hand up under the centre mirror like that.
Okay.
And at that point, that's when they want you to hit the brake and do everything else that we've just talked about. If they can see somebody coming up from behind or ahead, they'll abandon it, but they'll tell you they're abandoning it. They'll say, okay, we can't do it at the moment, just carry on driving. We may do it again later.
Okay.
Yeah? They're never just going to say to you, stop! Just out of nowhere, without any sort of pre-warning that it's about to happen. Right? So that's what I'll do. When we set off, once we're over the crossroad, we've passed the vicarage, we're driving down that road, I'll tell you what speed to keep the car at. I'll look behind, I'll look ahead. If there's anything coming, we won't do it. I might ask you to just pull over, let vehicles go past, and then we can pull out and hopefully try again. And then at some point, when it is all clear, I'm just going to look all around and I go, stop.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions before we do that? I'm going to move these things off the back seat, otherwise they're going to come flying forward. Any questions before we pull away then?
I don't think so.
Right, should we give it a go then, see how you get on?
Yeah.
So we'll probably do it 2, possibly 3 times, depending on how you get on. And then we'll just get on with the rest of the drive. So over to you when you're ready. Just turn it up a little bit. I have put it on quite hard because I was... You need to do it.
Sorry.
That's right. I'll just do it to where it normally is. Okay, somewhere around there. If you steer towards the brown doors now and then steer sharply to the left, you should be able to go through the gates pretty much dead straight. I'm sure you sorted it anyway, as you asked the question. So when we get to the end of the road, go straight across. I won't do it until we can see a long way ahead. Okay, so certainly not before we get to the first bend. Again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I have no idea if there's anything coming the other way or not. Just leave it in second though for now. So there's absolutely nobody coming towards us, there's nobody coming behind us, okay. Stop.
I think that faster on.
Right, and now what are you going to do before we pull away? That's it. It's as hard as that.
What's scary?
What was scary about it?
I don't know, it was also fast.
Okay, well let's just practice it again once or twice, okay? So just carry on driving in second. Hopefully it'll be less scary. We'll wait until we're past this junction in case there's somebody going. Now there's a vehicle coming up from behind us, so we won't do it, but what we will do is find somewhere just to pull over. We'll let them pass and then we'll pull out again and we'll have another practice. I think just a little bit further up is just a place where we can pull in. Yeah. Just slightly the first gear, just keep the car rolling very, very slow if you can once they've passed. And then just pull out after them. So nobody coming towards us, nobody coming up from behind. Just build up your speed a little bit more. Stop. And move off when you're ready. Lovely. Really nice. Was it less scary that time? Okay. Do you feel like you need to practice that again, or do you feel like you've got that now?
I feel like I've got it maybe one more time.
Okay. Again, I can see a long way behind us from my position. Nobody coming the other way. Let's go up into third this time. Okay, so going slightly faster, but not much. Exactly the same though. Stop. I'd give that a big thumbs up. Okay, you stalled on each occasion. Doesn't matter. It's not the point of the exercise. Okay,
Would you get
just to stop.
put down for that?
No. When you say put down, I'm guessing you mean mark down rather than take to the vets and put to sleep.
Yeah.
Just going to follow the bend round to the right. So again, we don't know what's coming the other way. Okay, now of course, whether it's on this lesson, on your driving test, or any other time you're driving, hopefully it won't happen, to be perfectly honest. And it's very, very rare to need to do an emergency stop. I can't remember the last time I did one. Certainly years ago. So it's not something that you should be driving around sort of like really, really anxious about, like it's going to happen every single time you get out driving. But that's what you need to do. It tends to be quite an instinctive reaction, to be perfectly honest. If you're driving towards a set of lights and they turn to red quite suddenly in front of you, that doesn't phase you out, does it? You know, and all you're doing really is speeding everything up that you would normally do, you know, for a set of red lights, and you're making it more extreme. Yeah, but I trust me, if something happens suddenly in front of you and it is an emergency situation, you're not going to sit there thinking, oh right, now what's it I'm meant to do again with the most, oh, yeah. And you know, that person's bouncing off your bonnet and then you go, oh yeah, I should have braked really quick, shouldn't I? It doesn't work like that.